When everyone thought she was just a nervous bride having cold feet, my daughter collapsed at the altar, her white dress pooling around her like a ghost. The groom screamed for help, the guests gasped, and the priest, he just stood there, frozen. But what no one knew, what she didn't even know until that very moment, was that the man she was about to marry had been lying to her for 3 years. Unknown to her, Let me start from the beginning. Before we dive in, drop a comment and let me know where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. If you enjoy stories like this, be sure to like the video, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, and share it with someone who'd love it too. My name is Catherine, and this is the story of how I lost my daughter and then saved her life. It started 6 months before the wedding. My daughter, Lily, beautiful, smart, 27 years old, sat across from me at our kitchen table in our home in Napa Valley. The afternoon sun poured through the windows, making everything feel warm and safe. But the words that came out of her mouth shattered that illusion completely. Mom, Dad, Jason and I have decided you're not invited to the wedding. I remember the exact way the coffee cup felt in my hand. Heavy. Too hot. I set it down carefully because I didn't trust myself not to drop it. What? My husband, Tom, spoke first. His voice was quiet, controlled, but I could hear the tremor underneath. Lily wouldn't look at us. She kept her eyes on her hands, twisting her engagement ring around and around her finger. We want a small, intimate ceremony, just close friends, people who support our relationship. We don't support your relationship. I couldn't keep the hurt out of my voice. Sweetheart, we've been nothing but welcoming to Jason since you brought him home. That's not true. Her voice was sharp now, defensive. You've been judging him from day one. Tom leaned forward. Lily, that's not fair. We've invited him to every family gathering. I helped him fix his car last month. Your mother made him. You're tolerating him, Dad. That's not the same as accepting him. She finally looked up, and I saw something in her eyes I'd never seen before. Something cold, distant. Jason feels uncomfortable around you. He says you look down on him because he didn't go to college, because he works with his hands instead of in an office. I felt like I'd been slapped. That's not true. But even as I said it, doubt crept in. Had we said something? Done something? We'd always tried to be careful, always tried to be welcoming, but it doesn't matter anymore. Lily stood up, slinging her purse over her shoulder. The decision is made. The wedding is in 6 months. You're not invited. I'm sorry if that hurts your feelings, but this is my day, and I want to be surrounded by people who actually care about my happiness. She walked out. Just like that. My daughter, the girl I'd raised, the woman I thought I knew, walked out of my kitchen and out of my life. Tom and I sat there in silence for what felt like hours. The sun kept shining, the clock kept ticking, but everything felt wrong, broken. She'll change her mind, Tom finally said. But he didn't sound convinced. She didn't change her mind. Over the next 6 months, we tried everything. I called her, texted her, sent her flowers. Nothing. Tom reached out to Jason directly, man to man, trying to you clear the air. Jason was polite but firm. This is what Lily wants, sir. I'm just supporting her decision. My sister, Diane, tried to talk to her. Lily's childhood best friend, Monica, tried to talk to her. Even Lily's grandmother, my mother, who Lily had always been close to, tried to reason with her. Nothing worked. It was like she'd built a wall around herself, and we were locked out. The worst part? We still saw her. She still lived in Napa Valley, just 20 minutes away. Sometimes I'd spot her car at the grocery store or see her having lunch at our favorite restaurant downtown. Once, I saw her trying on wedding dresses through the window of a bridal boutique. She looked so happy, and I wasn't a part of it. Do you know what that feels like? To watch your child prepare for one of the most important days of her life and know you won't be there. To know she doesn't want you there? It hollowed me out. Tom threw himself into work, spending longer and longer hours at his accounting firm, but I could see the pain in his eyes every time he passed Lily's old bedroom. I stopped sleeping well, stopped eating regularly. My friends would invite me to book club or wine night, and I'd make excuses. How could I sit there and smile and pretend everything was fine when my daughter had cut me out of her life? 3 weeks before the wedding, my mother pulled me aside after Sunday dinner. "Catherine, you look like death," she said bluntly. Mom had never been one to sugarcoat things. "This is eating you alive. What am I supposed to do?" I felt the tears coming and tried to fight them back. Failed. She won't talk to me. She won't see me. I don't even know where the wedding is happening. So find out. I stared at her. What? Find out where the wedding is. Go anyway. Mom, she doesn't want us there. I don't care what she wants right now. I care about what she needs. My mother took my hands in hers. Her skin was paper-thin, spotted with age, but her grip was strong, fierce. "Something's not right here, Catherine. Lily's not herself. You know it, I know it, everyone knows it. A girl doesn't cut her parents out of her wedding for no reason. Not a girl like Lily. You think Jason's behind this? I think something's going on that we don't understand. And I think your daughter might need you more than she realizes." I wanted to believe her. God, I wanted to believe her so badly. But what if she was wrong? What if I showed up and Lily hated me for it? What if I ruined her wedding day, the exact thing she was afraid I'd do? Tom was against it when I brought it up that night. "Catherine, we can't just crash our daughter's wedding. If she finds out, she'll never forgive us. And if we don't go and something happens? If she needs us and we're not there?" He didn't have an answer for that. 2 weeks before the wedding, I did something I'm not proud of. I called Monica, Lily's best friend, and I begged her for information. "Mrs. Harrison, I really shouldn't. Please, Monica, I just need to know she's okay. I need to know where she'll be. I won't cause a scene. I won't interrupt anything. I need to be nearby, in case she needs me." There was a long silence on the other end of the line. Then St. Andrew's Church, Saturday, November 16th, at 2 p.m. "But Mrs. Harrison, if Lily finds out I told you, she won't, I promise." I didn't tell Tom what I'd learned. Not right away. I sat with the information for 3 days, turning it over and over in my mind. St. Andrew's Church, November 16th, 2 p.m. Finally, 1 week before the wedding, I made my decision. "I'm going," I told Tom over breakfast. "I'm going to the church. I'll stay in the back, out of sight. But I need to be there. I need to know she's okay." Tom set down his newspaper and looked at me for a long moment. Then he nodded. "I'm coming with you." The night before the wedding, I had a dream. Lily was a little girl again, maybe 6 or 7, wearing her favorite purple dress. We were in our backyard, and she was showing me a butterfly she'd caught in her hands. "Look, Mama," she said, her face glowing with joy. "Look how pretty." But when she opened her hands, the butterfly was dead, crushed. She looked up at me with tears streaming down her face. "I didn't mean to, Mama. I was just holding on too tight." I woke up gasping, my heart pounding. Tom stirred beside me. "You okay?" "I don't know," I whispered. "I don't know." That dream stayed with me all through the next day. Through the morning light, through getting dressed in the simple navy dress I'd chosen, something that wouldn't stand out, through the quiet car ride to St. Andrew's Church. Something was wrong. I could feel it in my bones. St. Andrew's Church was beautiful. It sat on a hill overlooking the valley, its white stone walls gleaming in the November sunshine. Cars lined the driveway, expensive cars, I noticed. BMWs, Mercedes, even a Tesla or two. Lily and Jason had said they wanted a small, intimate wedding. This didn't look small. Tom and I parked down the road and walked up carefully, staying behind the other guests. I'd worn sunglasses and a hat, trying to be inconspicuous. Ridiculous, maybe. But I couldn't risk Lily seeing me before. Before what? I didn't know. I just knew I had to be there. We slipped into the very back pew of the church just as the ceremony was starting. The church was packed easily, 200 people. So much for intimacy. I couldn't see Lily yet, but I could see Jason standing at the altar. And for the first time, looking at him from this distance, this angle, something about him made my skin crawl. He was handsome enough, tall, dark-haired, well-built. But there was something about the way he stood there, the way he smiled at the guests, that seemed off, performative, like an actor playing a role. Or maybe I was just seeing what I wanted to see, justifying my presence here with paranoia and mother's intuition. The music swelled. The doors at the back of the church opened, and there she was, my daughter, my Lily. She looked absolutely breathtaking in her wedding dress, lace and silk, elegant and simple, her dark hair swept up in an intricate bun. She carried a bouquet of white roses, but as she started down the aisle, I saw something that made my breath catch. She was shaking. Not just nervous bride jitters. She was trembling so badly I could see it from where I sat, 50 feet away. And her face was pale, too pale, almost gray. "Tom," I whispered, gripping his hand. "Something's wrong. She's just nervous." "No, look at her, really look at her." Tom went quiet, because he saw it too. Lily made her way down the aisle, step by step. Nobody else seemed to notice. They were all smiling, dabbing at happy tears, whispering about how beautiful she looked. But I saw the way her hand shook as she clutched her bouquet, the way her breathing seemed rapid and shallow, the way she kept blinking, like she was trying to clear her vision. When she reached the altar, Jason took her hand. She flinched. It was subtle, so subtle I might have imagined it. But I didn't imagine it. My daughter flinched away from the man she was about to marry. The priest began the ceremony. "Dearly beloved, we are gathered here today." I couldn't take my eyes off Lily. She swayed slightly, and Jason's grip on her hand tightened. Was he supporting her, or restraining her? "Stop it. Catherine, you're being paranoid. You're seeing things that aren't there because you want a reason for why she pushed you away." But I couldn't shake the feeling. That sense of wrongness, of danger. "If anyone has cause why these two should not be wed, speak now or forever hold your peace." The words hung in the air. I felt Tom tense beside me, felt the wild urge to stand up, to shout, to stop this. But what would I say? "My daughter doesn't look well." She flinched when he touched her. "I have a bad feeling they'd throw me out. Lily would never forgive me." The priest continued. "Jason Michael Torres, do you take this woman to be your lawfully wedded wife, to have and to hold from this day forward?" "I do." Jason's voice was strong. Confidence. "Lily Ann Harrison, do you take this man to be your lawfully wedded husband, to have and to hold, from this day forward?" Lily opened her mouth. No sound came out. She swayed again, more pronounced this time. "Lily?" The priest leaned forward slightly. "Do you take this man?" "I." Her voice was barely a whisper. "I." And then her eyes rolled back in her head. She collapsed. Just dropped, like a puppet with its strings cut. The church erupted. People screamed. Someone shouted for a doctor. Jason dropped to his knees beside her, calling her name. And I was already moving. I didn't think so, didn't plan. I just ran. Down the aisle, pushing past shocked guests, my heart pounding so hard I thought it might burst out of my chest. "Lily! Lily!" I reached her just as Jason was cradling her head. Her eyes were closed. Her face was gray. "Get away from her." The words came out of my mouth before I could stop them. Jason looked up, and for just a second, just a fraction of a second, I saw something in his eyes. Rage. Pure, cold rage. Then it was gone, replaced by concern. Confusion. "Mrs. Harrison? What are you?" I said, "Get away from my daughter." Tom was beside me now, helping me pull Lily away from Jason. She was so limp. So cold. "Someone call 911. Tom shouted. "Already did." Someone called back. I cradled Lily's head in my lap, brushing her hair back from her face. "Baby, can you hear me?" "Lily, it's Mom. I'm here. I'm right here." Her eyelids fluttered. "Mom?" Her voice was so weak, so small. Like she was 6 years old again. "I'm here, sweetheart. You're going to be okay." I don't feel good. I haven't felt good for." She trailed off, her eyes closing again. Jason tried to push past Tom. "Let me through, she's my..." Stay back. Tom's voice was steel. I'd never heard him sound like that before. She's my fiancée. I have a right. You have a right to stay the hell away from her until we figure out what's going on. The tension in the church was thick enough to cut with a knife. Guests were murmuring, confused, some filming on their phones. The priest stood frozen at the altar, clearly having no idea how to handle this. And then I smelled it. Almonds. A sharp, bitter smell, like almond extract but stronger, coming from Lily, coming from her breath. My blood turned to ice. Tom. I kept my voice low, controlled, but I could hear the panic underneath. Tom. I smell bitter almonds. He looked at me, not understanding. Then his eyes went wide. We watched a crime documentary together a few months ago. One of those true crime shows I usually avoided because they gave me nightmares. But this one had stuck with me. Bitter almonds. Cyanide. No, Tom breathed. No, that can't be. The ambulance sirens wailed in the distance, getting closer. I looked up at Jason, standing there with his hands clenched at his sides, his jaw tight. And I knew. I didn't know how. I didn't know why. But I knew. The paramedics burst through the church doors 6 minutes later. 6 minutes felt like 6 hours. I stayed with Lily the whole time, holding her, talking to her, keeping her awake. She kept drifting, her eyes rolling back, her breathing getting shallower. Stay with me, baby. Stay with me. Help is coming. When the paramedics took over, they asked quick, efficient questions. What happened? She collapsed during the ceremony. Any medical conditions we should know about? No, she's healthy. She's always been healthy. Medications? I don't know. The realization hit me hard. I didn't know. I hadn't been in my daughter's life for 6 months. I didn't know what medications she was taking, what she'd been eating, how she'd been feeling. I didn't know anything. There's a smell, Tom said suddenly, like bitter almonds, coming from her breath. The lead paramedic's head snapped up. Everyone back, now. They moved fast after that. So fast. Oxygen mask. IV. Loaded onto a stretcher. We're taking her to Napa Valley Memorial. Are you family? We're her parents, I said. Jason stepped forward. I'm her fiancé. Parents only right now, sir. The paramedic was already moving, wheeling Lily toward the ambulance. Jason's face went dark. You can't, but they were gone. And so were we. Running after them, leaving Jason standing alone at the altar. The hospital was a blur. Emergency room. Doctors. Nurses. Forms to sign. Questions we couldn't answer. They took Lily straight back and wouldn't let us follow. We were left in the waiting room, sterile and cold, with nothing to do but wait and think and remember that smell. Could it really be poison? Tom asked quietly. We were alone in the corner, away from the other people waiting. Could someone really have poisoned our daughter? I don't know anything anymore. My phone buzzed. A text from Monica, Lily's best friend. Mrs. Harrison, is Lily okay? Everyone's saying she collapsed. Jason won't tell us anything. He kicked everyone out of the church. I stared at the message. He kicked everyone out. Why would he do that? Before I could respond, Monica sent another text. Also, I probably shouldn't say this, but I'm worried about Lily. She's been acting strange the last few weeks. Distant. She lost a lot of weight. She kept saying she was tired all the time. I asked if she was okay, and she said everything was fine, but my hands were shaking so badly I could barely type. When did this start? Maybe 3 months ago? Right after she and Jason moved in together. 3 months. Right after she cut us out of her life. An hour later, a doctor came out. Dr. Sarah Mitchell. Young, maybe in her mid-30s, with kind eyes and a serious expression. Mr. and Mrs. Harrison. We stood up so fast we nearly knocked over our chairs. How is she? She's stable. We pumped her stomach and we're running a full toxicology panel. But, Doctor? Mitchell hesitated. I need to ask you something, and I need you to be completely honest with me. Has your daughter been using any substances? Drugs, pills? Anything like that? No. I was absolutely certain, never. Lily's never even smoked a cigarette. What about access to chemicals? Does she work with cleaning supplies, industrial materials, anything that might contain toxins? She's a graphic designer. She works from home, on a computer. Dr. Mitchell nodded slowly, like she'd expected that answer. The reason I'm asking is because Lily's presenting with symptoms consistent with chronic poisoning. Not acute, not a single large dose, but small doses over time. Weeks, possibly months. The world tilted. Someone's been poisoning my daughter? We won't know for certain until the tox screen comes back. But yes, that's what it looks like. Has she mentioned feeling ill recently? Headaches, nausea, fatigue. We haven't spoken to her in months. The admission felt like swallowing glass. She cut us out of her life 6 months ago, right after she got engaged. Dr. Mitchell's expression shifted, sharpened. And who is she engaged to? Jason Torres. Does he live with her? Yes. They moved in together about 3 months ago. The doctor and Tom exchanged a look. I need to ask you to stay here, Dr. Mitchell said carefully. I'm going to contact the police. If someone has been systematically poisoning your daughter, this is a criminal matter. She walked away, already pulling out her phone. Tom and I sank back into our chairs. It's him, I whispered. It's Jason. It has to be. We don't know that. Who else could it be, Tom? Who else has access to her every day? Who else would have a reason to isolate her from her family, from everyone who loves her? But why? What would he gain from poisoning her? That was the question, wasn't it? What did Jason Torres want with our daughter? The police arrived 20 minutes later. 2 detectives, Detective Rivera and Detective Chen. They took our statements, asked the same questions the doctor had asked, and made careful notes. We'll need to search Miss Harrison's home, Detective Rivera said. With her permission, of course. She can't give permission right now, I pointed out. She's unconscious. Then we'll get a warrant. Mr. Torres is listed as living at the same address. Yes. We'll bring him in for questioning. They left. Tom and I sat in silence for a long time. Then, finally, Dr. Mitchell came back. You can see her now. She's awake. Lily looked so small in that hospital bed. They'd taken off her wedding dress, put her in a hospital gown, removed her makeup, took down her hair. She looked young, vulnerable, like my little girl again. Her eyes were open when we entered. They tracked us, and I saw confusion, fear, and then, finally, recognition. Mom? I was at her bedside in 2 steps, taking her hand. It was so cold. I'm here, baby. I'm right here. What? What happened? I was at the church, and then, her eyes widened. The wedding. Oh God, the wedding. Where's Jason? Is Jason? Shh. Don't worry about that right now. Just focus on getting better. But I need to call him. He must be so worried. Lily. Tom's voice was gentle but firm. The doctors think someone's been poisoning you. She went very still. What? You've been sick, haven't you? I kept hold of her hand. For months. Tired all the time. Headaches. Nausea. I thought it was just stress. Wedding planning. Work deadlines. When did it start? She thought about it. Maybe 3 months ago? Right after Jason and I moved in together. I remember because we were unpacking and I kept having to stop because I felt so dizzy. And it's been getting worse? Yes. But I just thought. She trailed off, her face going pale. You think Jason's been poisoning me? We don't know anything for certain yet, Tom said quickly. But the police are investigating. No. Lily shook her head frantically. No, that's insane. Jason loves me. He would never. Then who, Lily? I asked gently. Who else has access to your food, your drinks, your home? She didn't have an answer. We sat in silence for a moment. And then Lily spoke again. Her voice small and uncertain. He's been making me smoothies. My heart stopped. What? Jason. Every morning for the last 3 months, he's made me a smoothie. A healthy smoothie. He said he wanted to take care of me, make sure I was eating well with all the wedding stress. She looked up at me, and I saw the moment it clicked. The moment she understood. Oh my God. Oh my God, you think he was putting something in my smoothies? Before I could answer, there was a commotion outside the room. Raised voices, someone shouting. Then the door burst open. And there was Jason. He looked wild. His tuxedo was disheveled. His hair messed up. His face red with anger. Lily! Jesus Christ, I've been trying to get in here for 2 hours. These idiots wouldn't let me. He stopped when he saw us. His expression darkened. You're the reason they won't let me see my fiancé. You're filling her head with lies. Get out. My voice surprised me with its steadiness. It's cold. Excuse me? I said get out. You're not welcome here. She's my fiancé. I have every right. Sir, you need to leave. A security guard had appeared behind Jason, along with Detective Rivera. Jason spun around. Who the hell are you? Detective Rivera held up his badge. Detective Rivera, Napa Police. Jason Michael Torres. Yes, what's this about? We need you to come with us. We have some questions. Questions about what? About your fiancé's condition, about the substances found in your home. Jason went very still. I don't know what you're talking about. Then you won't mind coming down to the station to clear things up. For a moment, I thought Jason might run. I could see the calculation in his eyes, the weighing of options. Then he seemed to deflate. Fine, whatever. This is ridiculous, but fine. He looked past the detective to Lily. I love you. You know I love you. This is all a misunderstanding. Lily didn't respond. She just stared at him like she was seeing him for the first time. Jason was led away. The room fell silent. And then Lily started crying. The toxicology report came back 3 hours later. Thallium, a heavy metal poison, rarely used anymore, but devastating in small doses over time. Causes hair loss, nausea, neurological damage, and in large enough amounts over long enough time, death. We found thallium sulfate in your home, Detective Rivera told us. He'd come back to take Lily's statement, hidden in the back of a kitchen cabinet, along with a notebook detailing doses and dates. Mr. Torres was very methodical. Lily's hand was shaking so badly she could barely hold the cup of water the nurse had given her. How long? She whispered. How long before it would have? Another month, maybe 2, and you would have been in serious danger. The wedding likely saved your life. Your collapse prompted immediate medical intervention. If you just kept getting sicker gradually. He didn't need to finish the sentence. But why? Lily looked at me, tears streaming down her face. Why would Jason want to kill me? I don't understand. We were getting married. We were supposed to spend our lives together. Detective Rivera exchanged a glance with his partner. Miss Harrison, did you recently come into any money? An inheritance, perhaps? Lily frowned. My grandmother, Mom's mom, she set up a trust fund for me when I was born. It matures when I turn 30 or when I get married, whichever comes first. It's a substantial amount. $2 million. Everything clicked into place. The rushed engagement after only knowing each other for a year. The insistence on getting married quickly. The isolation from family, from anyone who might question him, might see through him. Once you were married, he'd have access to that money? Tom asked. We were going to open a joint account after the wedding, he said. Her voice broke. He said it would be good for us to share everything, to be a real partnership. A real partnership. Get married. Wait a few months for suspicion to die down. Let the illness run its course. A grieving widower inherits $2 million. There's something else, Detective Chen spoke up. Jason Torres isn't his real name. His real name is Jason Marks. He's done this before. The room went silent. What do you mean, before? I heard myself ask. In Oregon, 4 years ago, he was engaged to a woman named Patricia Chen, my cousin, actually. That's why I recognized him when we brought him in, though he's changed his appearance since then. Patricia died of what was ruled a sudden illness. Jason inherited her life insurance payout. But the family suspected foul play. By the time they pushed for an autopsy, he'd disappeared. He killed before. Lily breathed. He's done this before. We believe so. Patricia's body was exhumed last year when new evidence came to light. She had elevated levels of thallium in her tissue, but by then, Jason, or whatever name he was using, was long gone. Until now. My daughter had been dating, living with, and nearly married a serial killer. A man who had killed before and would have killed again. If she hadn't collapsed when she did, if we hadn't been there, if the doctors hadn't caught it in time. I felt sick. Jason confessed 3 days later. Well, partially confessed. He admitted to the thallium poisoning, hard not to, given the evidence. But he claimed it was an accident, that he'd been using it to treat a rat problem in their apartment, and Lily must have been accidentally exposed. Nobody believed him. The notebook detailing doses, the searches on his computer for how long does thallium poisoning take and undetectable poisons. The fact that he'd been buying thallium sulfate online for 6 months before he and Lily moved in, together. It was premeditated, calculated, cold. He was denied bail. Lily stayed in the hospital for a week while they treated her, flushing the poison from her system, monitoring her organ function. The doctors said she was lucky another month or two, and the damage might have been permanent. As it was, she'd need months of monitoring. But she would recover. Physically, anyway. Emotionally. That was going to take longer. I spent every day at the hospital with her. Tom did too, when he could get away from work. But mostly it was just me and Lily, sitting in that sterile room, slowly rebuilding what had been broken. We didn't talk about Jason at first. We didn't talk about the wedding or the poisoning or any of it. We talked about small things. Safe things. I brought her favorite books. We watched terrible reality TV together. I smuggled in Chinese takeout when the hospital food got too depressing. And gradually, slowly, she started to open up. I should have listened to you, she said one afternoon. We were alone, Tom having gone home to shower and change clothes. You and Dad, you never trusted him. We never said, you didn't have to say it. I could see it. Every time he came over, every time you looked at him. You were trying so hard to be supportive, but I could tell you had doubts. We just wanted you to be happy. I thought I was happy. She stared at her hands. Or maybe I just wanted to believe I was happy. Jason was charming, attentive. He said all the right things. And when you and Dad started expressing concerns, nothing direct, just little questions, little comments, Jason told me you were trying to control me, that you couldn't handle me growing up and making my own choices. That's how abusers work, I said softly. They isolate you, turn you against the people who love you. I fell for it. Tears slipped down her cheeks. I actually believed that my own parents were the problem, that you were trying to ruin my happiness. And all along, he was literally killing me. I moved to sit on the edge of her bed, pulling her into my arms. She collapsed against me, sobbing like she was 6 years old again. I'm so sorry, Mom. I'm so sorry for everything I said, for shutting you out, for… Shh. You have nothing to apologize for. Nothing. He manipulated you. He preyed on you. This is not your fault. But I should have seen it. I should have known. How could you have known? I pulled back to look at her face. Lily, this man was a professional. He'd done this before. He knew exactly what to say, exactly how to act. He fooled everyone, your friends, your coworkers, everyone. The only reason we had doubts was parental instinct, and we couldn't even put our finger on what was wrong. You came anyway, she whispered. To the wedding. Even after I told you not to. Even after I said those horrible things. You came anyway. Of course we did. You're our daughter. We'll always come for you. She cried harder, and I just held her, rocking her gently like I used to when she had nightmares as a child. I love you, Mom. I love you too, baby, so much. On her last day in the hospital, Detective Rivera came by with updates on the case. Jason or Jason Marks, or whatever his real name was, would be facing multiple charges. Attempted murder, fraud, identity theft. And they were building a case for Patricia Chen's murder as well. We found evidence linking him to at least 2 other women, Detective Rivera said grimly. One in Nevada, one in Arizona. Both died of mysterious illnesses after brief engagements. Both had life insurance policies or inheritances that went to him. 4 women. Jason had killed or attempted to kill 4 women that they knew of. How many more were there? How many others had fallen for his charm, his lies, his carefully crafted persona? He's a monster, Lily said quietly. We were back at our house in Napa Valley now, sitting in the living room where 6 months ago she'd told us we weren't invited to her wedding. An actual monster. And I almost married him. But you didn't, Tom pointed out. You're alive. You're safe. He's behind bars. That's what matters. Is it? She looked at us with haunted eyes. How am I supposed to trust anyone ever again? How am I supposed to believe that anyone who says they love me actually means it? I didn't have an answer for that. None of us did. Recovery was slow. Physically, Lily healed well. The doctors monitored her kidneys, her liver, and her neurological function. Everything checked out. The poison was leaving her system. But the psychological damage, 2 frayed knees, that was harder to measure, harder to treat. She moved back in with us temporarily. Her apartment, the place she'd shared with Jason, held too many ghosts, too many memories of smoothies made with poison, of slow death disguised as love. She started therapy, twice a week at first, then 3 times. PTSD, the therapist said. Trust issues, trauma, no kidding. Some days were better than others. Good days. She'd laugh at something on TV or help me cook dinner or sit in the garden reading. She'd seem almost like herself again. Bad days. She wouldn't get out of bed. I would barely eat. Would spend hours staring at nothing, trapped in her own mind. I keep thinking about all the times he made me that smoothie, she told me one night. We were sitting on the back porch, watching the sun set over the vineyard. He'd kiss me on the forehead and hand it to me and tell me to drink up, that it was good for me. And I'd drink it. Every morning. Poison. I'd smile and thank him and drink poison. You didn't know. I should have known. When I started getting sick, when I started losing weight and losing hair and feeling exhausted all the time, I should have questioned it, should have gone to a doctor sooner. You did go to a doctor, remember? You told me about it. She nodded slowly. Dr. Patel. I went to see him about 6 weeks ago because I was feeling so terrible. He ran some basic blood work, said everything looked fine, probably just stress from wedding planning. Did Jason go with you to that appointment? Yes. He insisted. Said he wanted to be supportive. Her voice was bitter. I thought it was sweet. But now I wonder, was he there to make sure I didn't say anything that might make the doctor suspicious? To control the narrative? Probably. He thought of everything. She pulled her knees up to her chest, wrapping her arms around them. He was always 3 steps ahead. Charming my friends so they'd dismiss my concerns. Isolating me from you and Dad so I wouldn't have anyone to reality check with. Making sure he was the only person I could rely on. And all the while, every single day, he was poisoning me, killing me, and planning what he'd do with my money once I was dead. I didn't know what to say. What comfort could I possibly offer? I'm angry, she said finally. I'm so angry I can barely breathe sometimes. At him, obviously. But also at myself. For being so stupid. So naive. So trusting. You weren't stupid. You were in love. Or you thought you were. Was I, though? She looked at me. Was I actually in love with him? Or was I in love with the person he was pretending to be? Because the real Jason, the one who could calmly poison someone day after day, who could hold me while I cried about not feeling well, who could plan a wedding while planning my death, I didn't know that person at all. No one did. That was the point. He created a mask. And he wore it perfectly. Until he didn't. She was quiet for a moment. You know what the worst part is? Part of me still can't believe it. Part of me still wants to think there's been some terrible mistake, that the Jason I knew was real and this is all just a nightmare. How messed up is that? It's not messed up. It's human. Your brain is trying to reconcile 2 contradictory realities. It takes time. How much time? I wished I could give her a number. 6 months. A year. 2 years. But I didn't know. As much time as you need, I said instead. 3 months after the wedding that never was, Jason's trial began. Lily didn't attend. Her therapist advised against it, saying it would be too traumatic. But Tom and I went to every day of proceedings. We sat in that courtroom and listened to the evidence. The timeline of purchases, the notebook, the computer searches. Patricia Chen's family came and testified, tears streaming down their faces as they talked about their daughter, their sister, their cousin who had died too young. The other victims' families were there too. Women who had been vibrant and alive and full of hope, who had fallen for a charming man who had trusted the wrong person. Jason showed no emotion through any of it. He sat there in his suit, clean-cut and handsome, looking for all the world like a successful young professional who'd been wrongly accused. His lawyer argued accident, coincidence, and argued that the prosecution was connecting dots that shouldn't be connected. But the evidence was overwhelming. The jury deliberated for less than 4 hours. Guilty on all counts. When the verdict was read, I looked for some reaction from Jason. Some crack in his perfect mask. Nothing. He just nodded slightly, like he'd been told the weather forecast. At sentencing 2 weeks later, the judge gave him life without possibility of parole. "Mr. Marks," the judge said, using his real name, "you are a predator. You systematically targeted vulnerable women, gained their trust, isolated them from their support systems, and murdered them for financial gain. You show no remorse, no empathy, no recognition of the lives you've destroyed. You are a danger to society, and you will remain incarcerated for the rest of your natural life." Jason's expression didn't change, but as they led him away, he looked directly at me, and he smiled. Just a small smile. A private joke. It made my blood run cold. I told Lily about the verdict that evening over dinner. She'd been doing better, putting on weight, getting her color back. She'd even started doing some freelance graphic design work from home, easing back into normalcy. "Good," she said when I told her. "Good, he'll never hurt anyone else." "No, he won't." "Do you think—" She hesitated. "Do you think I should have gone? To the trial? To face him? Only if you'd wanted to. There's no should here, sweetheart. Everyone processes trauma differently." Monica went. She texted me about it. Said she wanted to look him in the eye and let him know he didn't win. She pushed food around her plate. Maybe I'm a coward for not doing the same. You're not a coward. You're a survivor. And you're healing in your own way, at your own pace. That takes more courage than sitting in a courtroom ever could. She smiled slightly. It didn't quite reach her eyes, but it was something. "Thanks, Mom." 6 months after the non-wedding, Lily moved out. Not far, just into a small apartment in downtown Napa. A cozy 1-bedroom with big windows and hardwood floors. Somewhere that had no connection to Jason, no memories of poison disguised as love. Tom and I helped her move in, spending a Sunday hauling boxes and assembling furniture and arguing about where the couch should go. It felt normal, blessedly, wonderfully normal. "I'm proud of you," I told her as we stood in her new living room, surveying our work. "I know this hasn't been easy." "It hasn't," she agreed. "And I'm not going to pretend I'm all healed or whatever. I still have nightmares. I still have days where I can barely function. But I'm trying. I'm working on it. And I think I'm going to be okay. Eventually." "You are. You're going to be more than okay." She hugged me then, tight and fierce. "Thank you for not giving up on me. Thank you for coming to that wedding even though I told you not to. If you hadn't been there. But we were there, and you're here. That's what matters." A year after everything happened, Lily called me with news. "I met someone." My heart immediately clenched. Too soon. It's too soon. She's not ready. But I kept my voice calm. "Oh, his name is David. He's a teacher at the elementary school where Monica works. She introduced us at a school fundraiser last month." She paused. "I know what you're thinking. And I'm not. I'm not jumping into anything. We're taking it slow, really slow. He knows everything that happened with Jason. I told him on our first coffee date because I needed him to understand why I might be a little cautious. And how did he react? He listened. Didn't try to minimize it or tell me I should be over it by now or any of that garbage. Just listened. And then he said that he'd go at whatever pace I needed. No pressure, no expectations. That he was just happy to get to know me. I felt some of the tension ease from my shoulders. He sounds kind. He is kind. Like, genuinely kind. Not performatively kind like. She didn't finish the sentence. I didn't need to. I'm terrified, Mom. Terrified of trusting again. Terrified of being wrong again. But my therapist says that fear is normal and that I shouldn't let Jason take away my ability to connect with people. Your therapist is right. I know. I wanted you to know. And I wanted to ask if maybe you and Dad could meet him sometime. Not, like, immediately. But eventually, I trust your judgment now. If you get bad vibes, I'll listen. My eyes filled with tears. Of course, sweetheart, whenever you're ready. We met David 2 months later. Dinner at our house in Napa Valley, casual and low-key. Tom grilled steaks. I made salad and garlic bread. Lily brought wine and looked more nervous than I'd seen her in months. David arrived exactly on time, carrying flowers for me and a bottle of bourbon for Tom. He was handsome in an understated way, sandy brown hair, warm brown eyes, a genuine smile. But more importantly, the way he looked at Lily. It wasn't the intense, overwhelming passion that Jason had performed. It was quieter, steadier, real. When Lily talked, he listened, actually listened, not just waited for his turn to speak. When she made a joke, his laugh was genuine. When she got anxious during dinner, fumbling her water glass, he didn't make a big deal of it. Just helped her clean up and moved the conversation along naturally. After dinner, while Lily was helping me with dessert in the kitchen, Tom took David out to the back porch to see the vineyard, which meant I knew that Tom was going to have the talk with him. Do you think Dad's threatening him? Lily asked nervously, glancing out the window at the 2 men standing in the fading sunlight. Probably. In the nicest way possible. She laughed. It was a real laugh, unguarded and light. God, I'd missed that sound. Later, after David and Lily had left, Tom told me what he'd said on the porch. I told him that our daughter has been through hell, that she's strong and brave and working hard to heal, but that she's also vulnerable, that if he ever does anything to hurt her, he won't have to worry about the police because I'll handle it personally. I raised an eyebrow. You threatened him? Gently threatened. There's a difference. He paused. And then he looked me right in the eye and said, Sir, I understand. And I promise you, the last thing I want to do is cause Lily any more pain. She's the strongest person I've ever met, and I feel incredibly lucky that she's giving me a chance. I'm not going to screw this up. And you believed him? Yeah, I did. Tom pulled me close. He's nothing like Jason. Nothing. There's no performance, no mask. He's just a good guy who genuinely cares about our daughter. Good, I whispered into his chest. That's good. It's been 2 years now since the wedding. Jason is still in prison. Will be for the rest of his life. Every so often, I see articles about him online, think pieces about psychological predators, true crime documentaries, academic papers about serial killers who kill for money rather than compulsion. I don't read them. He doesn't deserve any more of my energy, my time, my thoughts. Lily is thriving now. Really thriving. She and David got engaged last month, a quiet proposal on a beach in Monterey. Just the 2 of them and the sunset. She called us immediately afterward, crying happy tears. I said, yes, Mom. I said yes, and I'm not scared. Well, I'm a little scared. But it's normal to be scared. Not, am I being poisoned scared. Just regular, this is a big commitment scared. That's a good kind of scared, I told her. The wedding is planned for next spring. Small, intimate, at a vineyard in Sonoma. Family and close friends only. And this time, Tom and I are invited. Not just invited, Lily asked me to help her plan everything. We've spent weekends looking at venues, tasting cakes, debating flower arrangements. All the things I thought I'd never get to do with my daughter. She's happy. Genuinely, bone-deep happy. And she's careful. Cautious in ways she wasn't before. She trusts, but she verifies. She loves, but she keeps her eyes open. Jason took something from her. Stole her innocence, her ability to trust blindly. But she's building something new in its place. Something stronger. Something real. Looking back now, I think about that day in the church a lot. About the decision to go even though we weren't invited. About the risk we took. The scene we might have caused. The anger Lily might have felt. If we hadn't been there. If I hadn't smelled the bitter almonds on her breath. If the paramedics hadn't gotten there in time. If any single piece had fallen differently, my daughter would be dead. And Jason would have gotten away with it, just like he'd gotten away with it before. Sometimes people ask me, how did you know? What made you go to the wedding? The honest answer? I didn't know. Not really. I just knew something was wrong. Mother's intuition, gut feeling, whatever you want to call it. That sense that your child is in danger, even when you can't articulate why. And I acted on it. That's the lesson here, I think. The thing I want anyone listening to this story to understand. Trust your instincts. If something feels wrong, if someone in your life is isolating you from the people who love you, if you're getting sicker and no one can figure out why, if the person you're with seems too perfect, too charming, too good to be true, listen to that feeling. Don't dismiss it as paranoia or overthinking or being too sensitive. Your instincts exist for a reason. They're trying to protect you. And if someone you love is in a situation that concerns you, if they've cut you off, if they've changed drastically, if something just doesn't sit right, don't give up on them. Keep reaching out. Keep showing up. Keep reminding them that you love them, that you're there, that they're not alone. You might save their life. For the parents out there, the friends, the family members, if someone you love is isolating themselves, especially in a new relationship, don't assume it's just the honeymoon phase. Pay attention. Ask questions. Trust your gut. The signs of an abusive or dangerous relationship aren't always obvious. Sometimes they're subtle. A gradual pulling away, canceling plans, making excuses, seeming anxious or on edge around their partner. Don't be afraid to speak up, even if it risks the relationship. It's better to have someone angry at you for caring than to stay silent and lose them forever. For anyone who's in a relationship that doesn't feel right, if you're reading this and something resonates, if you're feeling isolated, controlled, manipulated, sick, and no one can tell you why, please reach out. Talk to someone you trust. See a doctor. Get a second opinion. You deserve to be with someone who builds you up, not someone who tears you down. Someone who encourages your relationships with family and friends, not someone who drives wedges between you and the people who love you. Love should never make you feel small. Never make you feel sick. Never make you question your own reality or doubt your own worth. If it does, that's not love. That's something else entirely. And you deserve better. You deserve so much better. And finally, for the survivors. If you've been through something like what Lily experienced, if you've been betrayed, manipulated, hurt by someone you trusted, please know this. It wasn't your fault. You're not stupid or naive or weak for trusting the wrong person. Predators are skilled at what they do. They study human behavior. They learn what to say, how to act, which vulnerabilities to exploit. They're master manipulators. That's not a reflection on you. That's a reflection on them. You are not defined by what was done to you. You're defined by how you respond, how you heal, how you rebuild. It won't be easy. Some days it will feel impossible, but you can do it. You can survive this. You can heal from this. You can learn to trust again carefully, cautiously, but genuinely. Don't let the person who hurt you take anything more from you than they already have. Don't let them steal your future, your hope, your ability to love and be loved. You are stronger than you know, and you are not alone. Today, Lily is planning her wedding to a man who genuinely loves her, a man who would never dream of hurting her. Today, Tom and I are helping our daughter pick out flowers and taste cakes and debate whether the ceremony should be at sunset or mid-afternoon. Today, Jason is in prison where he belongs, and 4 women who didn't survive can rest knowing their deaths weren't in vain. Today, we're all still healing, still processing, still working through the trauma and the fear and the aftermath. But we're doing it together. And that makes all the difference. If you're watching this, and you need to hear it, you are loved, you are valued, you are worth fighting for. Don't ever forget that. And if you ever find yourself in a situation like Lily's, isolated, scared, unsure who to trust, reach out to a parent, a friend, a hotline, a therapist, anyone. Someone will listen. Someone will help. You just have to ask. Thank you for listening to my story. Thank you for being here. And please, please take care of yourselves and the people you love. We never know when we might need to save them, or when they might need to save us. I see you in the next video.